Hey, how you guys doing? It's your boy Beastly back at it again with another CFB 26 video. This is going to be another episode in our How To Dynasty series. If you guys haven't seen the previous episodes, all of them will be linked in the description down below, along with having a series playlist at the very end of the video. So if you want to just click on that series and get up to date with all the tips and tricks, because I know I'm going to go ahead and get asked probably at least 25 plus times in the comments of this video, hey man, how did you get so many upgrade tokens to upgrade your players? The entire series will be again linked in the description. So if you have any questions, more than likely I've already have a video on covering the topic. So for starters, get that out the way. Secondly, huge shout out as always to all you amazing, beautiful bastards. We are like 200 plus strong in the Discord, so I appreciate you guys. Shout out to the 3,000 or so of you guys new subs over the last several weeks. Again, appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you guys for taking time out of your busy weekends or weekdays to watch my content, to like, subscribe, comment, share. Appreciate that. Also, shout out to the fam who pulls up to the streams. Yes, I stream almost every single day on YouTube right here at around 6 o'clock CST, whether I'm doing rebuild challenges, whether I'm experimenting, doing all sorts of stuff, yapping about politics or sports or what have you. It's a fun, chill time. So stop by if you have any questions to ask me. And basically, all that yapping, what is the point of the video? Get to the video, man. I got you, fam. I got you. So I've been asked a lot of times, whether it's in my streams or my past videos from the new fam or, just people in general who are watching my content. And a lot of them have a lot of questions, how'd you get the tokens? And, I tell them that, well, I have a video covering that. And, I have a whole video on how to properly upgrade your players, what does and or does not impact the overall. And a lot of people, want to see me do it. And if you guys have been in my streams, you guys know this is like the boring, like easily the most boring part of every season is having me to sit there for 20 or 30 minutes manually upgrading my players piece by piece, because for some reason, EA Sports has no way of like quick dumping or auto upgrading players for like a desired thing. I really think it should be as simple as me holding the A button or X on PlayStation and then choosing how many tokens I want to dump in said stat. But either way, I got to sit there and manually hold the A button over and over. So that's normally the time in the streams where we just start yapping and chatting. But either way, I got a ton of questions, having, people asking so many questions, like how do you spend your tokens? How do you do this? Yada, yada, yada. So I figured, I already have a video. Shout out to my priming gamers, if you remember that video, where I more or less covered it, but this video will have no edits. It'll be, pretty boring, or at least I think this will be boring, but maybe you guys will find this mildly entertaining and or informative. So slap a like on the video if you learn anything new. And if you're curious, yes, I did do the math. I checked. I did the math for every single token I have on my roster right now, and you can fact check me. It's a lot of math, but I have 7,766 tokens to spend. No, that's not clickbait. No, that's not BS. If you sit there and add the token count for the entire roster I have in the upper right corner for every single player, I think I have like 72 or 73 players on this roster. I have over 7,000 upgrade tokens that I have available to spend. Now, will I be spending all 7,000 of these upgrade tokens? Hell no. Most of these upgrade tokens belong to freshmen or sophomore that are not going to see my field for at least another year, possibly two. So, to make the thumbnail and, the video, I have thousands of tokens to spend. I technically do. Now, will I spend all of them? No. I will spend as many as I can, but I'm not going to, go out my way to then upgrade players who are not going to see the field and waste my tokens just to, make an arbitrary number work. But yeah, I'm going to be upgrading I have 7,000 tokens to spend. I will not use most of them, and this video is going to be probably an hour long. Let's go ahead and get into it. First and foremost, this is, if you guys weren't here, this is my Penn State rebuild, where I was trying to, I think, go 4 or 5 years without losing a game, which we did accomplish that goal. Specifically, I think I went like 77-0 or some stuff. It was a great rebuild, a lot of fun. Did this the day James Franklin got fired. It was a lot of fun. For starters, we have a 92 junior QB with 4 tokens. I must have already spent his tokens. That's fine. We have a backup with 76 tokens who's an 82 overall. Now, first thing for the video. I have a perk that will change how this works for me versus how it works for you. Just keep that in mind. So, for example, I have tier 1 roster retention, which I highly recommend you squeezing into as many rebuilds as you can. It's an insanely valuable perk, considering just tier 1 of it is immensely useful. What this does is it reduces the odds of a 3rd to 7th round player becoming draft eligible and leaving your school. What does that mean, Beasley? That means if you have a player who reaches 87, 88 overall, they can go pro, which is very, 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 very annoying because the biggest problem in this game at upgrading players is not acquiring tokens. You can pretty much, as long as you have base motivator and decent dev traits, you can get the tokens required to max somebody out, right? The tokens are not the problem. The problem is getting someone to stay on your roster long enough to then upgrade them. Because typically, especially with automatic progression, not manual, I primarily play on manual for the record, but with automatic progression, the game will be like, hey, you have 225 tokens as an example. We're going to spend them all. Or in this case, for Glenn Pilgrim's example, we have 76 tokens. We're going to spend them all. And that will, either inflate their, overall dramatically or barely change them. And the higher they go in overall, the closer they get to being draft eligible. The moment they get draft eligible, they will leave you. So you could have a truly generational elite dev player who ends up becoming an 87, 88, maybe even an 89 overall his sophomore year, his redshirt sophomore year. And then he'll leave your program and be a 7th round pick. That's very frustrating. I hate that. And most of the time why people can't develop players and why people can't get high overall teams, it's because your players are leaving before they have time to develop. And there are several workarounds for that. I have the perk to reduce the odds for mine, which I highly recommend. The other thing, especially with manual progression, is just don't upgrade the players. So for example, with Glenn Pilgrim, he is several overall points away from being in danger, right? If I didn't have that tier 1 perk, I would never exceed 85 overall. 85 overall is the danger zone because at that point you're 1 or 2 accidental upgrades away from getting them drafted. I've seen it so many times. I've done it so many times. I'll have an 85, 86 overall left tackle, for example. I'll be, talking to chat, not paying attention. I'll accidentally upgrade them and then they shoot up 3, 4, 5 overall. And just like that, the player who was going to be a 99 overall messiah his junior year is going to be a 7th round draft pick his redshirt sophomore year. And that just sucks. So the biggest hurdle is just keeping the guys on your roster. How you do that is by upgrading the stats that don't matter. So for example, with Glenn Pilgrim, he's a pocket passer. Pocket passers primarily care about 2 stats. That's the actual throwing stats, which you see he has uncapped potential, throw power, and IQ. These are the 3 biggest lifting stats for all pocket passers. Now for me, I maxed out his power because I just got tokens for days. So I maxed that out, which is, one reason why his overall is pretty high. His IQ, I've been, slightly putting points into here and there, but I've not gone crazy yet. And then his accuracies, I haven't touched because I want to generally keep him, since I do have that perk. For me, I can get him up to an 87 or an 88 overall and be fine most of the time. But if you want to guarantee your player not going early and not leaving you, get them to an 85 and just stay there, right? Let them marinate, let them develop, let them grow as an 85. But another thing is by upgrading your players to 85s, including your backups, their deal breaker will change. So as you can see, at an 82 overall, Glenn Pilgrim, his deal breaker is playing style. I have a B+, he needs a B. If I were to upgrade him fully, that's going to shoot up to an A. I can't meet his criteria. And so if he doesn't get drafted this current year, he'll leave the portal. So there's a lot of incentives here to just not upgrade your players, especially with manual. Let them collect tokens and spend them when you need them. So for example, I have a quarterback, Matthew Rosenthal. I have a QB. He's fine. I don't need no one else. So this gentleman is just going to collect dust. And hopefully when it comes time to his senior year, he will have literally every stat maxed. That's the goal. It'll probably take, if I'm ballparking it, like 65 to 70 tokens to max out his accuracy and about 30 to 45 more tokens to max out his IQ and speed if I choose to do that. And I probably will, just to make him look a little cooler having everything maxed. I don't buy abilities. I don't recommend you buying abilities for basically 2 reasons. One, I primarily sim. So if you're a fellow sim gamer like me, abilities do nothing in sim. Does not matter if they're a bot. Does not matter if they got platinum, god tier abilities. Abilities only matter when you physically see the players play. What does that mean, Beastly? That means slow sim, when you're in the game watching your team play AI versus AI, abilities do trigger then. And then obviously when you're controlling your team and you're playing the game, abilities also trigger then too. But if you're menu simming like I primarily do, or if you're fast simming in-game or play-by-play simming, abilities don't do anything. So if you're primarily simming, don't waste tokens with abilities. I only ever buy abilities when I literally have everything important maxed out and I have, just garbage throwaway tokens. And just for shits and giggles, I'll spend on the abilities just so they have cool purple abilities. But realistically, it does not matter. So for most of my players, you're going to be like, why don't you buy abilities? There's no reason. Again, I primarily sim. I don't really play. And I don't really watch slow sim too much. I'll watch a slow sim natty, or like maybe if I'm like really just bored on stream, I'll watch a slow sim game here and there. But I would say 80 to 90% of my games are like straight up menu simmed, or at least fast simmed. So if they're not going to trigger 90% of the time, what's the point in me wasting resources on something that's never going to happen? But yeah, for this situation, I really don't have to upgrade him. He's nowhere near token cap at 255. He's at 76. And he's not going to be my starter this year. That's going to obviously be Matthew Rosenthal. So he's good. And then this guy is just going to be marinating for several years. He's nowhere close to seeing the field. But yeah, I'm going to, even though we're starting off this video with not spending any tokens, don't let this fool you. I already have a starter. Let's go to running backs. Okay, so for running backs, this is very interesting. So I primarily run the Ohio State playbook. The Ohio State playbook primarily utilizes one running back as kind of a do-it-all bell cow back. And so there's not really much of a reason to upgrade a player that high of an overall once when you have a good overall. So for example, I have a 93 overall current running back, Forrest Westbrook. He's a 4-star contact seeker with max elusiveness, getting there with max power, max IQ in his hand. So I don't think he'll stay. I'm pretty sure he'll get drafted as like probably a 2nd or 3rd round draft pick in this coming year. And I don't see him getting enough tokens to dramatically change his overall. Maybe he does. Maybe he gets like a bunch of awards and whatnot. But either way, he's going to get drafted. And he's primarily a good enough running back already to kind of lead the stable. And so it comes down to getting the backups ready. Now, as you can see, Terrence Whipple, great name. He's 98 tokens, 81 overall. He's nowhere close to starting, right? He's years away from starting, even though. But the cool thing about him is he's also nowhere close to token cap at 255. So for him, he's not going to start this year, and I don't really have direct plans to start him next year. And so more than likely, I'm just going to pass on him too. Same thing with George Leva. He's also going to pass, right? I'm in no dire need to start him now. I already have a good running back as the starter, and he has 100 tokens, meaning I have 155 tokens to wiggle room to work with. So he's in no dire need. But as you can see, we do have someone who is in danger of token capping. That is Theo Davey. And then the gentleman behind him is really in danger of token capping, being Caesar Massive. I'm just going to stop saying names for this video. This video is going to be really long, and I don't really look forward to butchering every single name. Do apologize, I can't read. So yeah, he has 152 tokens. So more than likely, he's going to be my starting running back next year. So we don't have to upgrade him with the intent of him playing this year. Since we don't have to upgrade him with the intent of him playing this year, that means we are not touching elusiveness, we are not touching hands, we are not touching power, we are not touching IQ. Pretty much the only thing we are doing is dumping everything we have into speed until he reaches about an 84, 85 overall, just to be safe. And we're going to have him max speed. There we go. So we have 52 tokens to spare, which is nice. Still got some tokens in the bank for next year. And he's max speed. So he is prepped, he's primed, as referenced that previous video. He's primed to go right now. So he's going to be my starting running back next year. These two running backs, whatever, they're fine. But then this guy with 198 tokens, we have serious problems with this gentleman. Because here's the thing, at 198 tokens, I could very easily make him a 99 overall running back and make him a first-round draft pick. But again, I don't really need to do that because I already have a 93. So if I do make this guy a 99, I'll have probably obviously an automatic first round pick, and then his guy's probably a 2nd or a 3rd. But again, because Ohio State primarily uses one running back, this guy's a 93 overall just sitting the bench, right? So it's like, do I really want to just have him sit the bench? And I'm going to try to spend as many tokens as I can on this gentleman first and see what his overall is. Because if we can somehow keep him under an 85 overall with spending most of his tokens, we're probably going to do that. So we're at 152, so we're still in danger of token capping. He's a 78. So what's the most expensive thing we can do that would impact overall? Actually, this guy might be the guy I start next year. Ooh. Since he might be the guy I'm going to start next year, I'm going to go ahead and upgrade his hands and elusiveness a little bit. Ignore the power I just did. That was an accidental misclick. So we can get him all the way up to an 80. You know, we'll stop at an 84. That's fine. 84 is a good enough overall. So they both have tokens still in the bank, so they will still develop and get more in the next offseason. We'll do. We have a 93 starter who's good enough, who will probably get drafted. And then these gentlemen are in the back. Now, this is going to get, said early in the video. Obviously, you should pay attention to deal breakers. I was kind of an idiot and didn't notice this guy's deal breaker was playing time. And by me not upgrading him, I have pissed him off. And so what I need to do is make him the same overall as the guy who would be starting, which is an 84. So we're going to do speed first. We're going to actually, we'll check. An 83, does that put you high enough to be happy? It does not. Makes sense. There's several 83 and 84s on the roster. So that's not really going to make you too happy. We'll do this. And then you're a pure, okay, you're elusive bruiser. So you get elusiveness and power. And an 84, are you happy now? I think he's happy now. So obviously when you're doing this, pay keen attention to who does want to play and who doesn't. As you can see, I spent tokens to make him equal to this 84, and the reason why he went from being unhappy to then being very happy is he's the same overall as this gentleman. So the game codes it as they both have an equal chance of playing, when in reality, he's not. He's going to get redshirted. He's not going to play. And just like this gentleman. So as you can see, we have a running back who's going to be probably a second or third round pick this year, currently starting. We have two dudes prepared for next year, where whoever I feel like is the best running back that will start next year. And then we got two running backs in the far back that's going to be the far distance down the way. Now, realistically, I could have upgraded too, right? I could have made this guy a 99 overall and had a 99 with a 93. But again, with Ohio State, they don't utilize that many running backs in their sim. So there's really no point in maxing out a bunch of running backs. But if I'm like in the groove, I can normally make 2 first-round picks a year, give or take. But I think we're good enough here. We spent some tokens. We're around 100 tokens for everybody going into next year, and we do have a pretty good stable of backups and starters. Fullbacks, I don't use them, so we're going to skip them. Now we get to the fun part, being wide receivers. Wide receivers, I can produce as many of them into the league as I pretty much want. So as you guys can see, we have like 20,000 million receivers on this roster. Let's go count dev trade, shall we? Impact, star, elite, impact, star, star, elite, 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 star, 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 elite, elite, elite. So if you guys can see, I have like 1,000 billion jillion, receivers. And most of them are either star or elite, because your boy just stays recruiting god tier receivers like that. If you guys want to see that how to recruit receivers video, just wait, because I think the next video I'm working on is running backs, but we'll get there when we get there. We have an overabundance of receivers. We have so many receivers that we need to send the current ones pro. How do we send the current ones pro? Well, first of all, you have to know, when can players get drafted? Just like in real life, a player cannot go to the NFL till, over the age or at the age of 20, right? You can't be drafted in the NFL as an 18 or 19-year-old. You have to bare min play 2 years. In game, that is either you starting 2 years, meaning your freshman year, and your sophomore year, meaning your no redshirt junior year is the earliest you can be drafted, or if you do have a redshirt, that is your redshirt sophomore season. So no redshirt, it's your junior year. With redshirt, it's your sophomore year. Our 4 best wide receivers right here are all redshirt sophomores, meaning if I want to, I could just send all of them pro, because they all have significant tokens, and there's really no worries about them not going pro. And so, how many, excluding these 5, who do I have behind them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, we have 10 guys behind these starting 5. Just like the running backs, I don't recommend maxing everybody out. There's really no beneficial purpose in doing so, because you can only have a certain number of receivers on the field. So even though I'm going to probably max out these 5 receivers to make them as high of an overall as I physically can to get them drafted, more than likely only 3 of them are going to get really stats, right? More than likely only a few, We'll do speed and the rest in elusiveness. Yeah, there's the one. Can we get maybe two? Two overall? Two overall? Nice, a 98. Nice. But yeah, more than likely, the top three receivers are going to get a bulk majority of the stats, and maybe my fourth string wideout will get a little bit of stats, but he's not going to get very many. Assuming I don't have an overcrowded receiver room like I currently have, I normally have three really, really good receivers, and then I have two receivers behind them that are getting prepared for next year. Again, in this example, I have way too many receivers, so I have to send 5 into the league now. Otherwise, I'm going to have a problem at recruiting players in the future. So for this example, I'm doing 5. But generally for you, I don't recommend having in sim, and again, it depends on your playbook and how you play the game, but from how I play the game and how I do stuff, most of the time, two receivers kind of with the Ohio State playbook pop off, which makes sense because in real life, Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith pop off in real life. So in their playbook, as long as you have two really good receivers, that third receiver can be like a low 90s, high 80s guy, and you're not really going to notice a problem. So yeah, while I'm yapping, let's go ahead and just start upgrading these guys. You're a 90 overall. What, we'll do hands. And actually, what are you archetype wise? You're a speedster. I think I might have lucked out with a bunch of speedsters, which is pretty rare because speedsters in this game have got giga nerfed. Let's go ahead and max out the IQ because IQ does awareness and ball carrier vision, and those two stats grossly inflate players' overalls. Whether it's offense, whether it's defense, or whatever they play, awareness and ball carrier vision is the easiest way of getting them a high overall. We'll do catching both times, and then we'll top it off with elusiveness. He's just shy of a 99, and he's a 98. Darn. Oh well, 298 receivers, not too shabby, and we'll do this gentleman, why not? He has 1,000 million trillion tokens. He is a route runner, meaning they primarily care about route running, so we're going to max that out first. 99, we'll do, I guess, hands next because we have the tokens to spare. And this is where a lot of people call manual upgrading cheesy. I strongly disagree. I don't think there's anything wrong with choosing when your players do and or don't develop. Because the issue with automatic upgrading or I guess having EA upgrade your players is that how EA works is they will spend tokens on whatever the cheapest ability is. If you're automatically upgrading a receiver, EA does everything the cheapest first. So gadget players' power is 2, whereas for every other receiver, it's 10. Power doesn't change overall too much. So you're going to have your person auto spend the tokens on stats that just don't matter. And then if you're curious why when you have auto progression on, you'll have an offseason and your guy goes up like 1 or 2 overall, that's why. The game is just really, really, really bad at spending tokens properly. The other thing the game is absolutely addicted to is spending tokens for abilities. But unless you play the games, or at least watch your team play the games, abilities don't matter. So even though I'm already like maxed out at a 99, I can't go physically any higher if I wanted to, I'm not going to upgrade tokens because, again, I don't need them because I primarily sim everything. Now, for this example, I have 42 tokens left remaining. I would probably recommend just dumping them into the abilities just to make them look cool. But because I don't plan on playing the season at all, we're going to dump these into power. And as you guys can see, just it really didn't do much because power and receivers don't really matter. But there you go. We have a 99 gigamaxed 5'8". We have a midget on my field. That's kind of funny. But yeah, if I wasn't trying to get all of them drafted, I would stop here and move on. But because, again, I got to make room for 10 guys in the back, I have receivers for days. Ooh, speaking of gadget, here you go. There you go. Yeah, power for the other gentleman was base 10 points per upgrade, and then as you saw, it scaled to 11 and 12 very quickly. For these guys, it's just 2. So, honestly, I'm probably not even going to get that dude drafted. He has 67 tokens, and he's impact dev, so he's kind of... Honestly, both of these guys are kind of far away. Yeah, I changed my mind. I probably should try and get them drafted, realistically. But I'm just going to settle at keeping them at 85s. Might as well stick to what I traditionally do and not change it what I normally do, just because I've accidentally recruited 1,000 receivers. But we'll get you up to an 85 which should be bam. Now you're an 85. So these 3 will be first round picks, and then these 2 will be ready for next year. And now since we got, oh, it looks like we, oh, your procs to home. Oh, you're going to transfer out, buddy. Oh. Again, pay attention to your deal breakers. I just do this willy-nilly because I'm an idiot. Can I force you to get drafted at an... So here's the issue with him. He's going to leave, right? He needs a B+, I have a B. He's going to leave. If I make him a high enough overall quick enough, he won't leave. He'll just go pro. The predicament I have is, can I squeeze a 95+ overall receiver out of 70 tokens? Now, if I max out route running and IQ, possibly, but I'm probably just going to roll the dice and just see if I can bring this guy back, because I'm barely over or under, the deal breaker. So I'm going to really hope that it's like medium or high and not low, because if it's low, then this guy's going to walk for free, which is going to be sad. But like I mentioned, pay attention to your deal breakers, upgrade the players, and get them up your board if they want to play. If they don't want to play or have to play, just let them marinate. It's fine. So now we got our starting 3 with our backup 2. Now here comes the fun part. For every other receiver on this roster, we have to spend tokens to be around 100 tokens remaining. He has 115, so this is really simple, just upgrading his speed twice. Mafu, Iosafia, these names are just hilarious. He's now under an 85 overall, so check, he's not going to leave. And secondly, he's under 100 tokens, or around 100 tokens, check. This guy's at 146, as you could probably guess. We have to then spend his tokens, which is going to be primarily on speed. So we're just going to max out his speed really quickly. And just like that, we have spent 60 or so tokens. His overall did not change. And now we are nowhere near token cap. We are not near token cap. Again, 146, you are dangerously near token cap. We want to always have the potential for our players to get tokens. Now, just so you know, happens all the time. 100's a great general number to sit your players at for the next year or years down the road. But if you send out, like, for example, these 3 receivers are more than likely going to be first round draft picks because I have tier 1 talent developer. Each one of these 3 wide receivers will stack. So even though I'm leaving everybody with approximately 100 tokens, give or take, there's a good chance, because I have 3 talent developers, or the perk is going to trigger 3 times for me having 3 first round picks. They're going to each probably gain like 60 to 75 tokens per first round pick. So these guys might end up token capping anyways, even though I'm trying to avoid that. Stuff happens, it's no big deal. You 2 also have to spend your tokens. I also generally like to leave them at 100 tokens, just because if I have something happen, if a player transfers out, if a player gets drafted early, if you're playing with injuries, it's nice to have people in reserve that at any moment you can just whip them out and be like, okay, well, bam, you have 100 tokens. My starting quarterback got injured. I'm now, up shit creek. I need help. Well, bam, my backup has 100 tokens. I can go upgrade him really quickly and never skip a beat. So as you guys can see, we spent as many tokens as we could to keep them at as low of an overall as we could, with keeping them at ballparking at around 100 tokens. These 3 gentlemen I am forcing to be first round picks. These 2 gentlemen I am preparing, or I'm priming, to again quote that other video, to be my starters next year. And all of these guys are going to get redshirted and be my future receivers. If I do this properly, comparing, I have 10 plus, I have about 15 receivers. If I do this properly, I shouldn't have to recruit a elite or star dev receiver for at least 4 years. Possibly 5, depending on how well I do this, but who knows. Then for tight end, really simple. I have 5 freshman tight ends. So there you go. We are not upgrading them at all. Next, let's look at offensive linemen. This gentleman's a 93 overall pass pro. We're not going to upgrade your run blocking because it doesn't really matter. I've mentioned this several times, and even I might show you if I have another person on my lineup with tokens to burn. But run blocking does not impact pass blocking overall at all. Not one bit. So if we're just strictly trying to go for sim stats, he's probably cooked, because this one upgrade of speed's not going to do much. And he already has pretty good agility. You know what? Why not? Well, it's the cheapest thing we can just go ahead and buy. Maybe. No. Darn. 96 is your cap. Again, run blocking doesn't do anything for pass blockers, so don't be like, well, of course he's a 96 Beastly, you didn't upgrade him properly. It's not how it works. In fact, I could show you very quickly that it does nothing with Eric Sapp, Warren Sapp's long-lost son. As you can see, he is maxed out run blocking, and he's a 78 overall. He would be much higher of an overall if he was an agile lineman or literally any other archetype, but because he's a pass protector, he only cares about pass blocking, power, and IQ, and since he is nowhere near token cap at 255, and he's kind of, not required to be the starter this season, I'm in no rush to upgrade him, and these gentlemen both have 0. Unfortunately, they're both normal dev, but they'll probably get cut very soon. Actually, you know what? I'll take that back. Are you guys at least normal devs with no caps? Oh, you are. Never mind. So these guys, even though they are normal dev, and I would primarily recommend you to always cut normal devs, because they're normal devs with no caps, if the moment I max out his pass blocking, he's going to be like a 90 overall. The moment I start to do his power and his IQ, he'll easily cap out at like a 96, 97, if not higher. So normal dev primarily bad, but again, I'm going to be producing hundreds of tokens a season, a cycle. So normal dev, elite dev, it doesn't really matter. These guys will eventually be first round picks, or at least that gentleman will be. Let me go check. Does Tremaine Fine also have... his skill caps are a little worse in IQ getting really badly gutted, but he has virtually no caps in footwork, pass pro, or run blocking. So he could still turn out to be pretty good. I'm not going to, judge him too much, but he's the starter. He's going to be a draft pick this year. This guy will be the starter next year, and these two have no tokens to spend. Next lineman. Got 3 babies behind him. Star, impact, 70-ish overalls. We have a 92 overall left guard with 70 tokens. You're agile, ooh. So we should be able to just max out the blocking here and get him to a 99. Hopefully. Hopefully, if he ends up being one of those guys that gets like hard capped at a 98, I'm going to be kind of annoyed. Don't do this to me. You... man. Okay, well... I was really hoping for a 99, and he still could possibly get 14 tokens during the year. He is elite dev, but darn. He was one away from being great, and then these guys, no worries. Next we have a ton of babies behind this center. We have so many backups. Our offense is honestly set for... I don't probably have to recruit for like 3 years. Maybe 4 if I'm being generous. As a freshman, this dude cannot be drafted. He physically can't. And since I know I have plenty of centers resting in the wings behind this dude, I have no incentivization to try and keep him any longer than what I have to. So since he cannot be drafted this year, we are going to straight run blocking, pass blocking IQ to spend as many tokens as we can. He's already an 88 overall pre-IQ, so he's going to probably tap out at like a 91, 92, maybe 92, perfect. So he's a 92 his redshirt freshman year, and then going into his redshirt sophomore year, more than likely I'm going to dump the rest into IQ and power, and he's going to be a first round pick, easy peasy lemon squeezy. And then these guys, I have no tokens, so there you go. Right guards. My senior has 176. You have not seen the field in like 3 years. You, my friend, are going to be awesome. Never mind. You are captain pass blocking, and I guess you can just go ahead and see it here that he was an 88 overall pre-run blocking upgrades. I'm going to max out his run blocking, but as you can see, it's not going to change his overall because it doesn't do that. Next, we'll max out the IQ. Hopefully, with all the IQ upgrades, we can get into like a 92-ish overall, please. Nice. 92 exactly. It's almost like I do this way too much. Do quickness just because we can. Unfortunately, he's kind of capped. His power being really capped really hurts him, and obviously his pass blocking being capped also really hurts him. But I don't think anyone's going to complain of having a 92 overall guard with really good stats. And again, ooh, we hit a 93. Nice. Nice. So in these very, 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 very rare situations, I physically can't upgrade this gentleman anymore if I tried. So now I'm going to go for purple abilities. Never mind, I can't get purple. Can this get purple? Please. I like the color purple. No. Can this become purple? I'm not really paying attention to what I'm upgrading. I'm just trying to get a purple thing. But it doesn't matter. Yeah, he's maxed out. So he has max abilities. His stats kind of hinder that. So max abilities, max stats. He should be drafted. I will be immensely disappointed if he doesn't get drafted this year as a 93. The gentleman behind him's under 100 or around 100, so I'm not too pressed to even really worry about him getting anywhere near token cap. My senior right tackle, good God, he's token capped. Okay, ooh. Oh my God, he's token capped with max run blocking and max power. Let's go ahead and upgrade his pass blocking real quick. He was an 82, now he's an 85, now he's an 87, now he's an 89, now he's a 91, 94, 96. So he just jumped from an 82 all the way to a 96, and all I upgraded was pass blocking because guess what, chat? He's a pass protector. That's how that works. Now, because, again, I have just so many tokens to spare, I have 200 to work with. Good Christ, he's going to be a monster. In fact, this gentleman, if you really just wanted to, the moment he reached the 99 cap, you could just go into abilities and probably, if I just speculated, buy all of them with like 130 tokens and still have enough tokens left over to max out his awareness. But I'm not doing that because, again, I don't primarily play these. I sim these, so I want the highest stats physically possible. What can I speed cap him at? He is 87 speed. Wow, he's an 87 speed, 6'4", 309-pound gentleman. Oh my, imagine having that guy running at you. That'd be my worst nightmare. Actually, not really. I'm bigger than this gentleman. If you guys don't know IRL, I'm 6'5", 325. So I'm actually bigger than him in real life, but I'm sure most of you guys who are hashtag short kings who are under 6 foot, you guys would be getting chased. We still have, we've spent everything we physically can, and now let's go buy the abilities because we have so many to spare. We have 16 left. What else do we buy? I guess wear down's not bad. Why not? There we go. If we get any more throughout the year, I'll come back and get... Ooh, no, I will not be coming back. I guess we'll do this and this. Again, doesn't really matter, but just to say we've spent them. We have now spent them. His backup is... Holy shit, he is well beyond the danger zone of token cap. He's at 177. Okay, well, you're going to get maxed out power because I don't want you to, you know, get anywhere near token cap. There you go. We just spent about 70 tokens, and he went up 2 overall. Power is a great filler stat for O-linemen, unless you're a raw strength. If you're a raw strength, then power will do a lot more than a couple overall, but for the pass protectors, for the agile guys, power's nice, but it's not like as anywhere nearly as impactful as pass blocking, as run blocking IQ is. And honestly, you know what? We're a little over token cap at 108. So now that we're sub 100, we're at 96. I feel much more comfortable, excuse me, not being in danger. So he shall be a beast for next year, and these gentlemen all have no tokens. So we're about halfway through. We just got done upgrading most of our offensive players and, you know, preparing for our backups for our future years. Let me know if you guys enjoy this style of video. Again, for me, this is really boring, but maybe to you guys, it's kind of fun seeing what someone can do with literally thousands of upgrade tokens. For the comment question / the comment emoji of the day, because as you guys know, I love to see all who has, you know, made it past like the 10-minute mark in videos. Leave a cheese emoji down below in the comments in your comment, and that way I will know you made it to this far in the video. Appreciate you. And I guess for the actual question of the day is, what do you find more difficult to upgrade, offense or defensive players? Because in my opinion, defense is way too easy. As you'll see, most of my offensive players requires a lot of attention to detail and like the right stats. But for defense, as you'll see, most of the time I can just max them out with like 1 or 2 stats. So let me know what you have more difficult time upgrading, offense or defense, and generally what you prefer in this game. Are you more of an offensive guy or a defensive guy? Next, we'll do our left edge. Great Googly Moogly. He has 248 tokens. Also, shout out to everyone who watched Phineas and Ferb. Great show. Growing up watching that show. Kind of age dating myself there. He's at 248. He's at 193, and he's at 226. Jesus Christ. Okay, we have 3 first-round pick DNs, and only one of them can get picked at a time. So more than likely, because they're all redshirt juniors. So what I'm going to have to do is get one drafted this year, get one ready to be drafted next year. Actually, no. Ooh, this is tough. Are my right ends also in the same? Ooh, they are. Ooh, yeah, I had a really, really great recruiting class for DNs one year. As you can see, Impact, Elite, Elite. And this guy was Elite, Star, Elite. So I had a really sick recruiting class. I got, 4 or 5 elites in one class. Pretty good, if I do say so myself. But because they're all the same age and they have the exact same number of years of eligibility, I kind of put myself in a pickle because I could get 2 of them drafted this year, but then that means next year I'll only have 1 guy left. And I don't really know if I want to do that versus me just letting someone, you know what? Nah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to get 1 guy drafted and then I will prepare the other 2 for next year. I don't have any D-line depth. I have enough for this year and next year, but I have just 2 years of depth. Bad recruiting for me. I should have more D-line on this roster. Less receivers, more D-line. Bad streamer. But Anthony Cutler, you're at almost token cap, and you have almost 99 speed, 97 to be exact. And by the way, you're 6'2", 242. Insert joke that I always make, the obligatory joke where you don't have to have thumpers. There's this misconception that if you want fast defensive linemen, you have to get athletic thumpers and move them from outside or inside linebacker to D-end. Nope, that's not true. Just get good defensive linemen, regardless of their archetype, regardless of their stats. If they have a good dev trait, they will have no skill caps. If they have no skill caps, they can get maxed out like this gentleman. It's really not rocket science. People complicate things way too much. Since Anthony Cutler is going to be a first-round pick, we are going to upgrade the things that matter the most, which for him, we're going to get run stopping out the way first. Run stopping is a great way of inflating overall. There we go. Next, because he is a speed rusher, we are going to upgrade finesse move. Beastly, why are we upgrading finesse move? Even though it says speed rusher, which technically can be ambiguous, is that a speed rushing power move or a speed rushing finesse move? Technically, it's finesse move, right? EA has to update their vernacular for things because how the archetypes are coded is like old Madden stuff. You know, I've been playing Ultimate Team my entire life, so I kind of know how this stuff works. But when you think of speed rusher, technically, it's not like, you know, when you see a power specialist, obviously they primarily use power moves, right? It's in the name, but the speed rusher isn't called the finesse rusher. It's called the speed rusher. There's some confusion right there. But yeah, you can max out the power rush on a speed rusher. The overall will increase, but you're talking like maybe 1 to 2 overall. You're not going to get a ton of overall from upgrading power move on speed rushers. And since we're already kind of capped out, I'm just going to do strength because why not? What's scarier than having a gigantic man who's incredibly fast, who's also really good at getting to the QB, who's also just ridiculously strong and can bench press an ox? Yeah, there we go. And my 1 pity point will get spent in power moves. He has basically maxed out finesse, maxed out strength, maxed out speed, maxed out run support, and maxed out IQ. This guy is going to be a dog. And more than likely, he's going to win every single pass rush award. He's going to have like 20 to 30 tokens by the end of the year. And so I'll just dump those midseason into power moves. And it wouldn't shock me in the slightest if I get this guy almost maxed. It wouldn't, but there we go. Anthony Cutler is our first round pick this year. Now this gentleman, we're kind of in danger because we're getting really dangerously close to token capping. And he's a power rusher, which means he wants to upgrade power moves. So we're going to avoid that like the plague. We are also going to avoid IQ and run stopping like the plague. But here's the thing, right? Normally we do speed and stuff like that, but speed for DNs does kind of matter. Now here's the thing. Speed's expensive. So we're going to just roll the dice real quick and see if we can max out speed without having him get higher than an 87. Okay, we're going to stop. An 87 is really like, I am really riding the line of doing so, like having him leave. So he's a little over what I would like at 115. I would obviously like that below sub 100, but it's the best I got because if I literally upgrade him any more overall, he will leave me or have a chance to leave me. And I really just don't want him to leave me. Next is JR Handy. What an absolute insane name. Oh my God. You guys can, ooh, we might not do anything for him. Wow. So J.R. Handy's been here for several years, and you can tell he's been here for several years because it's probably in one offseason I capped out his quickness, and the next offseason I capped out his power. Now it's like, what do I do? Because we have to obviously spend tokens, but we can't do IQ, we can't do power moves, we can't do run stopping. So I'm about to just dump everything he has into finesse move and cross my fingers that just like how power hardly affects speed rushers, I'm going to cross my fingers and hope finesse move hardly impacts power rusher. So far, his overall's not changed, which is nice. We're halfway done. Oh, it just changed. He went up 1 overall after like 12 upgrades. I can live with that. We're going to keep going, of course. Can we keep it at 1 overall? Not 2. Keep it at 1. Please, 1. Stay at 1. Come on. Come on. Perfect. So he went up 1 overall. We maxed out his quickness. We maxed out his power. We maxed out his finesse move. So now next offseason, we're going to cap out his IQ, his run stopping, and power. And have a 99 absolute super stud. This gentleman, he's not going to see the field for several years, so he is good. We have a look at this D-line room, man. Elite, star, elite, elite, just disgusting. Now we got to do kind of the exact same thing we just did over here, but we might honestly not have enough room, sadly enough. So this gentleman's a 94 speed rusher. We're just going to go ahead and cap out his speed, just because I feel very naked not having a speed rusher with at least 90 speed. Call me entitled, I know, but I like my speed rushers to actually be fast. That way when I do watch the natties, the CPU that will try to inevitably run away and they just get hawked down by just a really fast fat guy always makes me tickled pink. So now we have everything maxed out. Do I? Yeah, we'll just do power. Again, power move doesn't really do much personally for me because he's a speed rusher and I'm not going to buy abilities, so... Well, actually, I lied. We got 7 pity points. We will spend those 7 pity points into power. And assuming he gets any points throughout the season, I will just dump those into power. And there we go. We have a basically maxed IQ, run stopping, speed, finesse rusher with also good strength. And he also had pre-plat abilities too. So that's kind of cool. Got free abilities without even trying. Now here's the predicament. Patrick Daniels is probably... Not probably. He's going to token cap, and there's not much I can do to stop him from token capping. So he's an 85 overall, so he's already approaching the danger zone of potentially being a draft of the 7th round draft pick. And again, even though I do have that perk, the perk doesn't always trigger. Sometimes you will just lose people, so it's generally better to be safe than sorry. But just like the other guy, we already have everything capped in power and speed. So what do we do next? He's a power rusher. I think we're going to just dump it in power and hope that he only goes up 1 overall, maxed out 2. That's the hope. Again, going back to my point, it's like I'm beating a dead horse here. This is the reason why when you have it set to automatic progression and not manual, you get seasons where your guy just doesn't upgrade. Because as you can see, I have all the power, all the quickness, and now I'm doing power moves, and he's an 86. That's because the things that matter the most for depending on the archetype, which frames a speed rusher, that being finesse move, IQ, and run stopping. So, I'm being greedy. I'm being so greedy. Hashtag never been punished. Perfect. So we got that perfect 100 tokens remaining. He's an 86, so he's under the draft eligibility, and he's perfectly fine. This dude is getting his panties in a wad. I was not paying attention, and so now I have to make him an 86 overall to rival the other guy. That way, he doesn't leave me. Only issue, though, is I don't know if... actually, will that work? That might have just worked. He's unhappy. Shit, he has to be an 87. That's annoying. 87. 87, perfect. Are you happy now? You're happy, but you might leave for the draft. Which, that's another key point. I probably shouldn't have waited an hour and a half into this video to tell you guys. The other really good thing about leaving tokens on the player, down the road, is if you do get sideswiped by an accidental person getting drafted, or just something unforeseen happens, you can upgrade the player the week before they leave in the transfer portal to get drafted in the draft. And that overall, those tokens you spend can increase the overall, which can increase their draft rank. I have done this several times on stream. Again, if you don't believe me with any of these tips and tricks I'm giving, you can fact check me. But I have done this several times on my stream. I have turned fringe 3rd and 4th and 5th round picks into first and second round picks just by upgrading their tokens they got during the year, or if I had any left on them from the previous year. So now we got our D-line done. Let's look at D-tackles. Ooh, you're a senior with 194 tokens. You're a speed rusher. Ooh. You're a speed rusher with 87 speed. For a guy who's 300 pounds, 87 speed is kind of crazy. But because you're a speed rusher, we are going to go ahead and max out the finesse move because that is the most important, or one of the most important stats for you. Probably not the most important. I think the most important is run stopping. I think run stopping, just because it gives you so many stats, whether you're D-line, whether you're linebackers, and whether you're safeties, you're getting agility, you're getting pursuit, you're getting blocks, you're getting tackling, you're getting hit power. You're getting so many stats that it's hard for it not to implode your overall. It really is. Now we're going to just be smacking the A button on Al Michaels. This must be Al Michaels, also grandson. We got Warren Sapp's grandson. We got so many grandsons on this team. We're just bona fide Hall of Famers. And he's a senior, so he's been here for a minute, but you can kind of tell because his speed's capped out. So there you go. First, he has maxed awareness, check. Max speed, check. Max finesse move, check. 35 tokens gives us enough for a few more upgrades. And where do I want to stick those? Just because I like 99 stats, we will do strength because funny number. And then I guess we're going to dump the rest into power. Check. And he should get 5 tokens during the year. He should. So we can do power around the playoff mark and upgrade that some more. So he's a bona fide first round pick. Now we have a predicament. Who do we send with him? 136. We have to go with 201. We have to go with 201. We'll save one of these junior red shirts next year. Ooh, you're a gap specialist. Ooh. So gap specialists primarily only care about run stopping, which was already incredibly important for D linemen. But you're going to see his overall just balloon up. He was, I think, was an 80 or an 81 prior to upgrading him. Now he's going to probably be like a 92, 93. 93. It's almost like I've done this thousands of times, you guys. I can foresee all my predictions before they happen. Max quickness, max run stopping. We're going to go IQ next just because I generally like to keep this always capped. If you guys are curious what IQ does, because maybe this would make for a fun How To Dynasty series. Second comment question of the day. If you're still here, would you guys like an in-depth stat analysis on what stats actually do? I know I've given you a video on what number to hit to get certain desirable outcomes, but I've not made a video on like what stats do, right? There's probably a lot of people who are watching this video who don't even know what awareness does, right? It's just a stat that makes your overall high, but like, what does it actually do? Or like, what does play rec do? Or what does all these stats do? Right? We obviously know what block shedding does, but like, what does this do? And so I would probably make for a very fun video by itself, but here we are. Just because power move, as you can see, is very much capped, I'm going to go with finesse move. It doesn't really matter. He's already maxed overall, and we already covered the important stuff, but just because I would like my D lineman to have some sort of way to get to the quarterback, that way he's just not some NPC bum chilling on my roster accomplishing nothing. We will dump these into finesse move, and we even get 90 plus finesse move. Sweet. There's Nolan Jones. But yeah, second comment question of the day. Do you guys want an in-depth stat break, or not even stat breakdown, but stat analysis for like what things do? Because there's a lot of things that people assume things do that don't actually work that way. So it'd be for a fun video. And I would probably have to separate that between offense and defense, because if I did one long video, that video would be like an hour and a half long, which is just, ooh, I'm not doing that. He's already been primed, as you can see, 97 speed, and we have 57 tokens to spend, and we're in kind of no rush to get him to an 85 overall. And we'll do power, I guess. Perfect. Perfect. Around 100 tokens, check. Primed, check. This gentleman, Robert Hajer, however you say his name, again, just like every other fat guy before you, you will catch the speed. Why? Because I am speed, I am quickness. Just spent 100 tokens maxing out my D lineman speed. Do I regret that? Not a single damn bit, because it's nothing, again, nothing's more entertaining to me than watching a fat guy chase down some skinny 6 foot, 200 pound or 185 pound QB that he realistically should be nowhere near. You're a gap specialist. You only care about run stopping. We're going to upgrade your run stopping I lied. We have a lot of tokens to burn. I thought we had less tokens than that, but we're going to go ahead and get this down. You're an 85. Ooh, you're an 87. Ooh, I fucked up. Okay, well, see, that is the exact reason why you have that perk, to like save you when you inevitably fuck up, because he was an 85 and jumped to, or he was an 84, excuse me, and jumped to an 87. So he's teetering that line. D linemen are all done. Next, let's move to linebackers. Again, linebackers are so easy to upgrade. I swear I can produce a 99 overall linebacker in my dreams. Theirs is really simple, just IQ, run stopping, and pass coverage. I'm going to max out this guy's IQ. Never mind, he's actually getting close to getting that. We're going to go run stopping. There we go. Run stopping first, then IQ. Here it is, 90 zones, so there's really no point in me upgrading that. So let's just do IQ one more time, and if he gets 3 tokens during the year, which I don't know why he wouldn't get 3 tokens, I will then do IQ and maybe get a 97. Ooh, the guy behind him is Nate Timu. He's incredibly tokened, so we're just going to go ahead and max out his speed to burn as many tokens as we can. And just like that, we just burnt like 60-something tokens, and he is not anywhere in danger of being drafted. We'll do IQ. Just, 104 is close enough to 100. He's ready. Next, we have these 2 gentlemen. I need a linebacker. My defense is super thin. I don't know why I have 1,000 receivers on this team, but I don't have starting linebackers. So because he is going to be my starter this year, he kind of needs to be as good as humanly possible. So we're going to kind of equally upgrade IQ, pass coverage, and run stopping until the point where I feel like I'm in danger of not actually maxing him out. And then when that danger is reached, we will assess where we're at and what we have to upgrade further to make him better. Which looks like I am perfectly, actually, yeah, we're fine. He's already at 93 overall, and we have 100 tokens left. What am I yapping about? This is the part of the video where I've just gone insane, spending hours and hours talking in front of a microphone and a screen. And he's at 98. Now we're gonna upgrade this. Now he's a 99. Thank you, game. He is now maxed out. Perfect, 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 perfect. Max IQ, decent speed. Honestly, you could have done a little more speed there, but what will we do? Danny Irvin, a 99, like several linebackers before him. He's nowhere close to token capping. He's good. This gentleman is he's a redshirt junior, 94, with basically max IQ, max pass coverage, and max stuff. All we can really upgrade for him is, sadly, speed. Ooh, that's not good. Yeah, because of the pass coverage cap, it kind of hurts him. Yeah, if we can get 2 more... I don't know why we wouldn't, but if we can get 2 more tokens during the year, I'll be a bit disappointed, but we should easily get into at least the 97. At least the 97. Next, we have this gentleman who, again, we have 70 tokens to burn because he will not see the field this year. And he's kind of overall going up way too fast. Shit. Perfect. Perfect. He'll stop 85. Good enough. And oh my goodness, we have so many corners. As you guys can see, we have a redshirt senior who's been on the bench for 4 years, waiting for his moment. Maxed out speed, maxed out power. Now let's spend the A buttons, mashing this repeatedly to upgrade the zone. Zahir Church, wow, he has Church as a last name. He is going to be baptizing people. Let me just tell you that much. He is going to be giving them the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit on the same play. That dude's going to have the hands of like prime Aqib Talib. How tall are you? 6 foot? Aqib Talib was like, I think 6'1 or 6'2. Who was a great press corner who's 6 foot? Because Sherman was 6'3. Revis was like 5'9. He was a fucking midget. Rod Woodson was 6'1. I can't think of a single corner who's 6 foot tall who's good at press. Wow, this is like mid-video stumping me. We already have everything maxed, so we're just gonna dump these here just because we can. There's really not like a pressing need. I guess just to get more interceptions in sim, I should be upgrading hands. But like hands doesn't really do anything to overall kind of like power for corners, so it's like whatever. Like, yeah, if you maxed out their hands, you'll maybe get like 1 or 2 overall, but it's not... It's really there just to say you have high catching, right? As you'll see, they will having it fully maxed out. He has 99 catch, 86 catch in traffic, and 85 spec catch, which is not too shabby. And we can just dump the rest into pursuit, and just like that, we have a corner with almost everything maxed out, who's 6 foot tall from Central Florida with elite dev. Nice. Nice, 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 nice. Now, these juniors, all of these juniors take precedent over everyone else because I need them. Actually, do I need them gone? Ooh. At receiver, I had the luxury of just sending 5 into the league because I have 10 behind them. But when my corner room is kind of looking shallow, right? I have several corners, but considering the fact that minimum 2 or 3 are about to go to the league, I really don't have that big of a corner room. We're going to upgrade zone. Why? Because it does play rec, and for the very few times he will be paying zone coverage, I would like him to not be an NPC on my field, because there's nothing that infuriates me more when I'm playing this game than when I play against the AI, whether it's on All-Pro or All-American or Heisman or whatever game, Madden, CFB, whatever you're playing. I love it when the AI snaps the ball and just immediately throws it, and then the receiver catches it. It's like, what? The quarterback held the ball for like 0.3 seconds. What the fuck do you mean you caught the ball? Like, the receiver wasn't even done running their route, and the guy still catches the ball. That annoys me. So, the best coverage we possibly can. I feel like his run stopping is good enough. We're going to upgrade his catching just so he can get more INTs. And I really hate, honestly, seeing the red. I much prefer the orange or green or yellow color over the red, but oh well. Decent corner, that's for sure. So yeah, we have I'm gonna get 3 drafted this year. I'll get 3 drafted this year, and I'll have 3. Ooh, yeah, I'll do that. I'll get 3 drafted this year, and then next year I'll have these 2 juniors who are Yours is PT and yours is not. Oh, yours is also PT. Fuck. They're all playing time. Are you trolling me? I really recruited an entire class of just people who are assholes who all want to play. Well, ain't this a problem? 173, 233, 168. So realistically, the 233 guy would be the hardest to keep around. We'll do you. I'll send 3 into the league this year, and then hopefully get the other 2 to stick around for next year. And then hopefully at that point in this current class of recruits, I can get some corners. Because ultimately, that's the only downside to this build. And I've said this on my stream several times. And we, me and you, we got hours to spend with my sexy voice as I'm spamming the A button to upgrade these guys. The only problem I have with doing this is that you basically have to constantly recruit the same number of players that you're losing. It sounds not like a big deal, but if I can send 20 to 30 people into the league every single year, that means I have to recruit at least 20 or 30 people to offset the 20 or 30 people that are leaving. And so if I ever get lazy and just decide to take a year off or not really recruit as well as I should be recruiting, you can easily destroy your own roster by just sitting there and doing that. In fact, I could tell you from personal experience, I've done that on my stream a few times. Sometimes I'll get, impatient, I'll rush it and just send it and skip a year of recruiting. And then the next year I'll drop from like 70 or 80 currently people on my roster down to like 45. I'm like, where did my team go? Well, I was being lazy and just skipped the process. So if I had to pick a downside to this build, that would be the downside, is that you have to really recruit. But if you like to recruit, that's not really a downside. So it is what it is. Now we are going to, you have to burn tokens, power, max that out right now, because you have to not go up and spend tokens. Perfect. You are now sub 100 tokens and you're still an 84 overall. Love to see that. You're a Orlando Brown. That's a very, why does that name sound familiar? Is Orlando Brown a real person? Is that a left tackle for the Seahawks? No. That's Walter Pace? No. I'm losing my mind mid-video. I think Orlando Brown, wasn't he the starting right tackle for the Sooners like 8 years ago? And then he got drafted by the Ravens and then played for like the Chiefs and the Bengals. I think that's the Orlando Brown I'm referring to in my head. Anywho, we have a ton of tokens to spend and we are still in danger. So we're going to just dump them into hands because we can't do quickness anymore. We can't do hands anymore. So, or should be power. We got a lot of tokens to burn. We got 40 tokens to just burn. Take a shot every single time. Beastly says, burn tokens. You will be so intoxicated, you will be dying on the floor by the 18-minute mark. Kids, don't drink. It was a funny joke. Be responsible. There we go. He has 92 catching traffic. Holy shit. He's basically a receiver. He's Travis Hunter minus his girlfriend cheating on him. Aha! That joke's gonna piss some people off, but I don't really care. There we go. We're pretty much good for our CB run. We have 3 99s. We have some low 80s waiting for next year. Next, onto safeties. Ooh, you're an 86 overall senior with maxed out tokens. Well, I think this should go without saying. You're going to get maxed out zone. We're not going to even dispute that. Honestly, man coverage, press, and change of direction for a coverage specialist doesn't really make me eh. So we're going to go run support. That's far more valuable. I'll probably do run support, hands, and then whatever I have left over, dump into man coverage. That would be the most effective strat, yeah. Duke Graves, a fellow 99 overall gamer. Oh, what am I talking about? We have 146 tokens to spare. Good God, we have just tokens for days, bro. We have tokens for flippin' days. Yeah, I wasn't joking. Like, this little fourth wall break. I am an hour and 48 minutes into this recording. And this is going to be primarily no edits, no cuts. Just me yapping in the background for you guys. Yeah, this is kind of what I do every single season on stream, which is why I primarily stream stuff. Again, around every single day, around 6 o'clock CST. But this is why I stream, because whether we're yapping about whether or not Cam Newton's a Hall of Famer, which he's not, go ahead and, third comment question of the day, is Cam Newton a Hall of Famer? The answer is no. Cam Newton belongs in the Hall of Very Good, not the Hall of Fame. Minor spoilers for a future segment on the channel where I list off some names you guys give me in the Discord, and I decide whether if I was in control of the Hall of Fame, if I would stick them there. Safeties, good, 90, 94, maxed out, perfect, 210. Oh, wait, I have 2 senior strong safeties. Oh, my God, what am I doing? What am I doing? What are you again? You're a box specialist, so I'm going to still do pass coverage. Again, what am I talking about? We're going to be able to max everything out. I have 200 upgrade tokens. I'm not in any danger of not having it. But yeah, little side yap inside of a side yap, some side yapception. Why I don't think Cam Newton's a Hall of Famer is really simple. His stats are aggressively mediocre. He had 1 good year in which he won an MVP, and that was pretty much the end of it. Like, he has the iconic fumble in the Super Bowl where he doesn't bend over to pick it up because reasons. There's just a myriad of stuff. Cam Newton was never a top 5 QB of his era. He has amazing highlights that you can slap some fun trap music or rap music behind on TikToks and YouTube Shorts, and it has this younger generation swooning over him. But no, Cam Newton is not a top 5 QB of his era. You could easily skip over his entire career when you're talking about the NFL history, and just he was a fun, entertaining quarterback. He had great Madden cards, right? He had so many great golden tickets and good Easter cards over the years that he's a lot like Michael Vick, where Michael Vick has transcended reality, where there's people on this earth that think Michael Vick's a Hall of Famer because he has really good cards in Ultimate Team. Like, Vick, immense talent, immense everything else, but no, Vic is not a Hall of Famer because Vic would rather be abusing animals than playing on the field. So, were they both amazing athletes? Yes, they were. Did they both have decent careers? Yes, they did, but they're just not Hall of Famers. Furthermore, if you really want to just be angry at me in the comments, oh, Beastly, Cam Newton is 1,000% a Hall of Famer. Do you also keep the same energy on Alex Smith? Mr. Mediocre himself. Beastly, what do you mean by Alex Smith? Alex Smith has 199 career touchdowns. Cam Newton has 194. That's including rushing and passing. Oh, well, Beasley, you can't just judge a quarterback based off their touchdowns. Okay. Alex Smith has collectively 35,000 total yards. Cam Newton's at 32. So even when you include the rushing, Alex Smith is still better. And then the main thing of a quarterback is turnovers. How many interceptions and fumbles do you have? Alex Smith peaked at, I think, 109 turnovers. Cam was at like 122. So Alex Smith has better total numbers, better touchdowns, less interceptions. And I don't think there's anybody on this earth who would genuinely look me in the eyes and say, Alex Smith's a Hall of Famer. So just... They even have similar playoff records, ironically enough. I looked this up because I've been having arguments with my chat the last like 3 weeks over this. Cam Newton has he's 3-5 in the playoffs. Alex Smith is 2-4. So it's not even like there's a well, Cam Newton is just no. Even in the playoffs, they're both mediocre because they're just mediocre. That's how that works. Kicker, we have hundreds of tokens on these kickers. I'm not going to be able to upgrade them all because they're kind of capped. He's even star dev because your boy can recruit really good kickers because of course he can, because I can recruit everything and anything. Why? Because I played this game too goddamn much. But just because there's a off chance that you do end up... Oh, that didn't last long. There's an off chance that I actually do end up needing abilities on you for watching you play. Coffin corners for the punter. I don't really need that for the kicker. But yeah, Alex Smith and Cam Newton basically had identical careers. The only major difference between the two is that Cam Newton had a personality where Alex Smith did not. That's, at the end of the day, that's kind of the only difference between the two. As angry as that makes you, I'm sure I will hear it plenty in the comments of this video, but still, there you go. As we wrap this up, upgrading the punter, you already have Platinum Coffin Corner. Sweet, because that is an amazing ability. We'll keep doing awareness, which I don't think does anything for kickers and punters. And just like that, we are done. That is officially the entire roster and a 2.5 hour recording. Let's go ahead and count our 99 overalls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 13 99 overalls. 3 98s who will be 99s when I upgrade them more during the year. A few 96s and a bunch of low 90s or high 80s. No, I am not going to do the math on how many tokens we actually did end up spending, but I would be willing to bet we probably spent half of the available tokens on this team. We did come into this video with 7,766 tokens. I would be willing to wager we've probably spent close to 3,000 to 4,000 of those tokens. And yeah, if you guys enjoy this video of me just holding the A button and yapping to you guys, let me know down below. This video was more or less me just showing you generally how I spend my tokens, why I spend my tokens, and what I should do. TLDR, to quickly summarize this at the very end of the video. If they're your starter, right, and you want them to be drafted, upgrade the stats that matter the most for that person, depending on their archetype. I have other episodes in this series that go in more in depth, so if anything's a bit vague, leave a comment, drop by the streams. I don't mind answering any questions. There are no such thing as dumb questions, just dumb answers. Keep that in mind, kids. And yeah, just pretty much upgrade players who are going to start for you to the highest of their physical abilities, especially if you're simming. If you're not simming, if you're playing the games, upgrade them to about 90 and then dump the rest into abilities, because abilities matter so much more when you're playing the game than when you're not playing the game. And then for the backups, just upgrade power, upgrade speed, upgrade the stats that won't really infect their overall, and, you know, keep them at a semi-low overall to not fuck with their deal breaker and to not make them transfer. And just rinse, repeat. That's pretty much a secret. If you want to, again, see me do this more and have more examples, pretty much all of my streams, I do this 4 or 5 times a stream, whether it's the Rice rebuild, the Penn State rebuild, the Vanderbilt rebuild. It's like a quarter or a third of the stream is just me smacking the A button. So appreciate y'all, and let's get into these shout outs, shall we? As always, I hope you have a wonderful morning, evening, night, afternoon, or day, depending on whatever time you watch my content in the future. Like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. Drop me a follow or sub on Twitch. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you can, please become a member. Members helps the channel out a ton, like the people you see on the screen right now. Appreciate each and every single one of you guys. Members get early access to all of my content, whether it's several hours early, a few days early, or even a week early. Early access to all my content, perks in the Discord, and prioritize videos in the forward. So if you want to see a video or a thing tested, you know, for yourself, whether for a stream or a video, members do get dibs on that first. And overall, it just helps and support the channel a ton. And yeah, guys, I will see you when I see you. Deuces.